So the next performer here is Travis Dirks. Okay, Travis is a friend of mine. He trained with me. He distance trained with me some, and he has gotten just phenomenally. I can't believe you told that story, dude. I can't believe it.
That's not right.
Travis is a physicist. Okay, so we're not all muscleheads. Most of us are, but actually not all of us are smarter than we look. Travis is actually a physicist and has a whole business model and all kind of cool stuff. And he got very strong, man. Got some old time training and some really cool stuff. And anyway, he had a unique performance and a unique perspective on coming. Actually, a couple of the guys here have come from that. Like, wasn't athletic, and I came and decided to get strong and change my whole perspective on building a unified life of mental, physical, spiritual strength. And he's got a piece on success that I think he's going to talk about here and show a couple of really pretty cool feats. So let's watch him and hope you guys are enjoying this.
Hi, I'm Travis Dirks. I'm a physicist, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a recreational strongman, and I'm honored to be a part of this telethon. My son was just born 4 months ago on July 4th, and I've taken a lot from Bud in terms of being a father, and a lot from Bud just in life. So I'm proud to help in any way I can. I'm going to do 2 feats for you today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey in strength and hope that maybe it inspires some of you, maybe it causes you to strike out in a direction that you find attractive. So I did not train or do any exercise from the ages of 18 to 33. I made an intentional decision when I went to college to focus all my efforts towards my brain. And I got a PhD. I've done a lot of great things, using this thing. But over time, my body degraded. I ballooned up to about 240 pounds. In 2013, I lost all that weight. I got all the way down to 173 pounds. I don't think I'd been that light since I was a sophomore in high school. But I found that I didn't feel the way I felt in high school. And I attributed that to being weak. So I started training. And one of the first things that I did was that I picked up a kettlebell. This is the first kettlebell that I bought. It's 35 pounds. I call it Vera. It's all beat up because now I use it mostly for throwing. And I just use that thing for 15 minutes a day, 4 or 5 days a week. But here's the thing, I did it 4 or 5 days a week for 18 straight months. And every time the kettlebell felt weak, I'd buy a heavier one. And I eventually got up to this guy, which is 106 pounds. And I'm gonna snatch this thing for you in a second. And just briefly, to me, this means a lot because when I started, I had seen people do that. And it was a thing that I wanted to achieve, but did not imagine that I ever would. So I feel a little thrill still every time I do it. Now, before I leave that period of my training, I want to say that I experienced something, and a lot of people I've talked to experienced the same thing. In the first 6 months, nobody noticed the changes but me. In the next 6 months, other people started to notice. And they started to ask me what I'm doing, how can they do it, etc. And then a funny thing happened after that. So sort of somewhere on the way to 1.5 years of training, people stopped being able to identify with where I was at. They stopped asking me what I was doing, and they started saying things like, I could never do that, or you must have been born strong. And I think that's a testament to the sort of slow speed with which your body changes. It's what in math we would call an exponential, right? Day to day, it seems like nothing changes. but over months and years, the changes are incredible. So just know that if you're feeling like things are moving slowly. The next phase of my training, I ran into online Bud Jeffries, and he was a little bit like, he did to my training what a prism does to light. It just sort of spread it out everywhere into a lot of interesting directions. But the first thing that I picked up was functional isometric contractions. So this was a method popularized back in the 1960s. I only trained the end range of motion, and I added a lot more rest. I only trained one time a week. The whole workout took me about an hour. And I only did 10 single reps. So a single rep of 10 different movements. And that's it for 6 months. And in that 6 months, I actually gained 25 pounds, most of it muscle, and a whole lot of strength, and my whole body changed. I got a DEXA scan after that, and they said that my bone density was off their charts. It was as dense as they could measure. So it is at least in the 99.95th percentile for bone density, which is a good indication of overall health and durability of the body. So incredible things can happen with physical training. At the end of this video, I'm going to wrap up by showing you one of those lifts. I'm just going to lift this thing a couple of inches, hopefully, and I'm going to hold it for a bit. And that's about all that's involved. That and eating enough and getting enough rest after that. But before I do that, I want to say a couple things. I think somebody out there might be feeling a little bit inspired to maybe try something new, maybe be a little more consistent in their training. And what I want to say is this: I think one of the greatest powers that you as a human have is you get to decide what's important to you. You get to decide what is of value in this crazy universe that we're in, and you get to decide to go after it. So I would urge you to make that decision. It doesn't have to be the right thing. What I've found is that when you go after something positive, when you later decide something else is of value to you that's different, you'll find that you're closer to that new thing that you actually want than you would be had you not gone after the thing that you thought was valuable before. So if you're feeling like maybe you're that person that's a little bit inspired, just decide to be that person who's inspired. The other thing is that I'm looking for my twin. So I was under the delusion when I started college that there is a mind-body dichotomy, that this is a machine, a little meat machine that is carrying my mind around, and that I don't need to pay attention to it and I can focus on this. And that works for a time until it doesn't. I did not start training because I wanted to help my mind. I started training because my physical body had degraded. But what I've found is that this has gotten a lot better as this has improved. And I think what it comes down to is that your mind is your body. Your body is your mind. And so I think there's a lot of really strong people out there who are watching this, and maybe some of you have left that mental aspect of your life behind in the way that I had left that physical aspect of my life behind. And I'd like to challenge you to pick that up and put in a little time every day, and you might be stunned at where you are 4 years from now, in the way that I'm stunned at where I am. And to kind of try to inspire that, I'm going to share with you a poem that I wrote. It's one of maybe 5 poems I've written in my entire life, including the one that was published in 3rd grade. So that'll be good. It's an attempt to describe this experience of having a deep insight. So if any of you have ever made an all-out intense effort, you might have experienced this feeling of almost like your consciousness app shutting down, and sort of everything whiting out, and there's just the effort. Something similar happens in these moments of extreme insight, where it's almost like parts of your brain are shutting down to sort of shunt power to this other part that's just pegging the RPMs to the wall. And it's an incredible experience, and I hope you feel it at some point. And so this poem is called Truth Seeker. The time comes again, experienced traveler, you know the signs. All the effort paid 100-fold as you thrust forward to once again pierce the veil. The world clears ahead, most dropping away all muddle and smear. The bright light of careful, clear thought reveals what remains. Truth's bedazzling connections revealed, but a spotlight, stormlight, expensive and fading. Hold tight, take a memory, bring something back or fall empty. A piece, disconnected but real and shining as the model returns. Don't quit now, you're not done. The glow and the pride can wait. Check the goods, be sure it shines, still in place, yes. Excitement building, pick it up, turn it around, examine the angles, hold it high. Turning slowly, eyes unfocused, find it again, glinting through the smear. Here and there, unexpected, sometimes priceless. A truth in a new place is a new thing, its own truth. A new truth, refracting, though now through now unseen connections in that other realm, now lost to you until sleep and time refresh. I hope that conveys something of what that experience is like, and I hope that you take this opportunity to dig into that other part of your life if you haven't before. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Noah's Army. And now this. That is a unique feeling.
Good?
Yes.
All right.
Button didn't want to cooperate.
Button didn't want to work. All right. Even the equipment's getting tired now. Okay, so thank you, Travis, and for all of that, for the mention and the talk about growth and the uniting of the mind, that there is no separation in mind and body, and that the strength work and the awesome little the support and the snatch and the growth, everything you talked about, man. We appreciate you doing that, and love counting you as a friend, and the fact that you came out for Noah's Army and did all that, and also you probably brought the general IQ of this whole thing up by being by you and Heather brought it way up. So we had to bring in some ringers to make things better looking and smarter, and that whole thing. Listen to, because there's a group of thugs that'd be hanging out here watching cool stuff. Although there's some smart people watching online. I've been listening to them talk about it, and some very cool stuff. And he had some very intelligent things about it. People were just talking about it. It was nice. That's a great presentation. And your progress, Travis, has been phenomenal. Especially, I wish we could have shown that Travis does the thing where he does a one-arm overhead carry and support. That is truly a good feat, phenomenal feat, and hopefully we'll get that in next time. Thank you for your presentation, buddy. We really appreciate that.